Let's talk a little bit about what happened earlier this week here in New York. I know you're out in the Midwest. You've come to New York to host a show. A couple of days ago, a guy living out in Paterson, New Jersey, rented a Home Depot flatbed truck, drove it down the West Side Highway, went into a bike lane and killed 8 people, injured about a dozen more. We know now that apparently ISIS has declared him a soldier of the caliphate. And we know that he came into the country with this diversity visa program, which a lot of people had not heard about, allowing him to come into the country from Uzbekistan and then bringing 20-some-odd people with him.
Sadly, we are killing people because of diversity. And what's funny, Steve, we don't talk about diversity anywhere else except in America, possibly in Europe a little bit, places like that. They're not talking about diversity in the Middle East. They're not talking about diversity in Africa. And what's interesting is those are the places that have the most homogeneous societies in the world. But we talk about diversity here.
The least diverse.
The least diverse, meaning so in America, one of the most diverse places in the world. We have every religion, creed, sex, you name it, sexuality, and yet we are constantly talking about this. So we bring this guy in on this diversity visa program. He gets people killed, and the first thing people do is run to the defense of the program. Chuck Schumer says, why are you politicizing it? We're politicizing it because people were killed over liberal policies, leftist policies that never should have been brought up. And that there are many millions of Americans watching us right now that 100% agree with this. Look,
well, when they started the program, there were Republicans, and a Republican president signed it into law.
Yeah, but that's the problem. The problem is the Republicans who are in office, and we're finding this with Flake and Corker and others, they do not represent what the majority of Americans think. And every time they run to this idea that Americans are xenophobic, we don't like foreigners, that is nonsense. We're in a city full of people of other cultures that walk past each other, we get along great. But when it comes to politics, they act as if Americans hate foreigners. We love foreigners. We love their language. We love their culture. But we love it when they come here with the idea of America being first.
As a politician, you want people to be able to come here and live that American dream. But we're also living in different times than even 5, 10 years ago. And that is why immigration is the top of everyone's mind right now, and changes that need to be made. We need to be more thoughtful about who's coming here, why they're coming here. It can't just be this lottery of whoever gets lucky can come.
Absolutely. You know, this idea that we're just willy-nilly selecting people to come here. In the old days, it was the best and brightest. And people, when I traveled, it was, you'd go places and they go, I hope I get to come to America, because I want to bring my skill set and things like this. It's no longer that case, because now we're just saying, come over. It's a random system. We don't care if you, they say you have to have a high school education or something like that, but the standards are so much lower. But they guilt us into believing that America is this open door policy for that. And I always ask leftists, well, then why isn't it that way with Harvard? Harvard has a standard. It isn't community college. Why do you want to give us free community college, but you won't give us Harvard? So, you know, these are good questions.
You notice, too, Kevin, with other countries not being as diverse. Saudi Arabia is one of the countries on the list for diversity green cards to come here. There's not one, it's a pretty modern country. There's not one church or one synagogue. Why don't we bring that up?
Well, we do. Well, I mean, I do. I have. And you just did. No, we talk about these things all the time. Again, I go back. I dare any of the leftists that are watching the program, go look at these different programs that you want implemented in America. Apply them to practically any country in Africa, apply them to any country in the Middle East, and many, many other countries around the world. Apply the very same standard that you want for America. And here's the reason why nobody asks. Nobody wants to go there.
Do you listen to Snoop Dogg?
I do.
Oh, you do listen to Snoop Dogg?
Yeah, Drop It While It's Hot.
Okay.
Everybody knows that song.
So what do you think? There's a new cover out, and it looks like you have Snoop Dogg standing over a dead President Trump.
Well, somebody's wearing a Trump toe tag right there.
What do you make of that, Kevin?
Well,
what's going on here?
Either Snoop wants to be a coroner, or he's reminded of his life as a Crip.
Whoa.
You know, look, it's a terrible thing to do, but we understand what he's trying to say, because Snoop sees anti-Trump as a way to sell.
So did Eminem. I mean, a lot of these rappers, a lot of these musicians are doing that.
A lot of people think the money is there. I think it'll dry up very soon as President Trump makes more and more, you know, as the legislation kicks into place. But quite frankly, if Snoop wanted to do that, he should be doing that standing over the bodies of some of the governors and states that allow.
But I mean, this isn't the first time. In 1991, Ice Cube. I'm a big fan of Ice Cube too. His album Death Certificate was a mirror image, but the toe tag said Uncle Sam. I mean, is it? Do a lot of these rappers, do they hate this country? Is that what it is?
I don't. You know, it's tough to speak for that. But what I can say in this particular case, when I looked at it, I thought to myself, what should Snoop have been standing behind? Right? He's an L.A. Crip. How many bodies did he put in that morgue? Right? How many governors in states that don't allow citizens to have firearms? How many of those guys have put people in morgues?
Yeah.
What about the people who are over Detroit, the mayors, the mayor of Baltimore, the mayor of Cincinnati? You know, daily people are killed. I would defy Snoop.
Or just stand over no dead bodies. I mean, what happened to respect in this country, regardless if you disagree with the political opinion? I mean, it's disgusting, I think.
But, you know, the thing that really gets me is I bet you Snoop can't name the last person in the hometown where he lives who was killed by a gang member, something that he espouses to, thug culture. He can't name a single person that was killed. But he'll stand before the president as if Donald Trump is a person doing drive-bys and killing people in black neighborhoods.